Question: if you wanted to burn 80 to 100 million, how would you do it? I suppose you could throw some gasoline on it and light it afire, but where's the creativity in that? Where's the pizzazz, the showmanship? Nah. Instead, why not create a low-budget TV-looking drama filled with head-scratching moments, nauseating editing cuts, convenient plot devices, nail-on-a-chalkboard dialogue, wasted acting talent, and laughable acting from a primary character that is all brought together by a script that felt like a first draft. Now that's the way to do it. That's showmanship. After all,
it's provocative, gets the people going.
And if you can't leave a movie saying,
"Tell me I did not just see that,"
is it really worth watching? Dear viewer, I present to you Madam Web.
Burn, baby, burn!
Madam Web is a somewhat off-brand superhero film that follows Cassie, played by Dakota Johnson, who has developed superhuman abilities. This great power has caused her to take on,
don't you dare,
great responsibility.
You're fired. Get out of here.
As she protects 3 teenage girls from a dollar store Spider-Man named Ezekiel. You see, it's a simple premise and with decent writing could have left me feeling lukewarm about the film. Thankfully, the writers chose to entertain in the best way possible by providing a film that will trigger emotions in most film watchers at the very mention of it. Now, it may not be the way they had intended, but the effect is the same, and for that, the writers should be congratulated. It is not that often that a big picture film truly utilizes cringe as its primary source of emotion. The opening scenes of many films can give you a good indication as to how the movie will be. For example, in The Godfather, where a man tells a gut-wrenching tale of the assault of his daughter, or the tense interaction between Miles Teller and John Jonah Jameson in Whiplash, which sets the basis of their relationship throughout the film. Madam Web is no different, because in the opening scenes, we really get an indication of how wonderfully awful this movie would be. The film begins with a heavily pregnant Constance, along with her bodyguard Ezekiel, and they're on a quest to find a rare spider in the Peruvian Amazon. As Constance is taking photos of a spider web, whiny Ezekiel asks if they are close to finding the spider. Constance says the spider is almost impossible to find and rarely captured alive. Then Ezekiel, with his mouth in the camera shot, says, "I only provided bodyguard services on the basis that you would be close. Except there is one teeny tiny problem here." He says all this, but not once did his lip move. Yes, making it obvious that the lines were done in post is an excellent way to leave a good impression that the movie was well written and executed.
But wait, there's more.
So Constance explains why she needs the spider. But instead of me saying it, why don't you listen for yourself?
Specimens show that the peptides in the spider's venom, they supercharge their cellular structure.
The whole explanation was so awkward. It was like one of two things happened. One, the actor had lines to explain further, but it made absolutely no sense that she was like,
This is bullshit.
Or two, the writers were like, y'all not gonna believe the explanation anyway, so why bother to write one? It was like the movie gave up on itself 2 minutes into it.
I can't do this anymore.
Now, I get that most science fiction, fantasy, and superhero explanations are BS. For example, the neutron blast from the defibrillator caused a ripple in the space-time continuum.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I totally made that up, but come on now, writers, at least attempt something.
Please!
So Ezekiel fills in the exposition gaps by saying that it would give people superpowers like a group called the Las Arañas. Constance then provides us with more exposition on the Las Arañas by stating that they have superhuman abilities where they can dash across treetops and secrete black venom. However, she categorically states that they are a myth.
Are you sure about that?
But man, what an opening scene. Already that was peak cinema.
2 seconds later.
We find Ezekiel back at base camp.
Wait a minute!
Isn't he supposed to be her bodyguard? Why isn't he by her side? And now that I think about it, why would you need a bodyguard in a jungle? A guide? Sure. A research assistant? Yeah. But a bodyguard?
By all accounts, it doesn't make sense.
Ezekiel searches through Constance's things trying to find notes on how he can get his hands on the spider, giving clear bad guy energy. As he does this, Constance rushes into the base camp, proudly showing that she captured the almost impossible to find, yet capture alive spider.
Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
You literally stated damn near 2 seconds ago that it was impossible to find. Writers.
Come on now, dawg. Come on, man.
What about letting a scene develop? How about being aware of pacing? Maybe you could have shown the difficulty she's gone through before finding it. But the writers were like,
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you something.
We don't care.
So Ezekiel confirms he's the bad guy by shooting the extras that were there at the base camp, along with Constance, before grabbing the spider and taking off. As Constance is dying and the baby in jeopardy, guess who comes to the rescue? The Las Arañas, the mythical legends themselves.
It's me, Mario!
They scoop her up, take her to a mystical pool, have another rare, almost impossible to find spider bite her, and she gives birth to our actual main character, Cassie, before dying. The Las Arañas dude, as he's holding Cassie, says that she'll come back for answers and he'll be waiting for her. 30 years later, we see Cassie as a paramedic in New York. Question: why didn't the Las Arañas take her in as one of their own?
I don't know!
Cassie's whipping the ambulance through the streets of New York with her partner Ben Parker. I wonder where I've heard that name before. They're on their way to the hospital with a patient in tow. So during this ambulance scene, the movie uses 1,000,000 cuts per minute to convey the urgency, immersing me in the chaos and intensity of being the patient in the ambulance, while giving me in real life a healthy dose of nausea. Anyway, the next following scenes, we get a little insight into Cassie. She isn't the empathetic type, and she's clearly affected by not having her mom in her life. She also comes across 3 girls that will be important later in the story. So after rescuing one person, Cassie and Ben are back on the job, and they are dispatched to a crash site with a car that's upside down and on the edge of a bridge. The driver is stuck inside, and so Cassie goes into the vehicle to cut him loose. Once loose, Ben pulls the driver from the vehicle, which causes Cassie and the car to take a leisurely swim into the river. It is here in a dreamlike sequence, which was pretty cool visually, we see Cassie unlock her future side powers. Powers, mind you, that are never fully explained throughout the movie. We don't know how it's activated, we don't know how far into the future she can see, we don't know its weaknesses, we don't fully know what she can or can't do. And this is why the writing in this movie is so beautifully horrendous, because when it is convenient, the writers can make Cassie have visions to move the plot forward, which is exactly what happens. Pure genius.
And I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
Next, we learn that Ezekiel has been having visions of his own. Every night, he experiences 3 girls in spider outfits killing him. And so, in a state of paranoia, he's on a quest to kill them. To do so, he conveniently seduces and kills an NSA agent so that he can gain access to their domestic spy network. By the way, the visual mastery in the way they created this vision scene was of the highest order. The way they used so many quick cuts, weird angles, and motion blur to create a scene that had me feeling like I saw something and nothing at the same time.
What did I just see?
It was such an odd experience, and so I have to ask the filmmakers.
Do you think that's necessary?
Also, can we give Ezekiel's actor a shout out? His performance in this movie should be an inspiration to all actors that no matter your skill level, it is possible to be in a big picture film. Fast forward, we find Cassie at the baby shower of Mary Parker, who is having a baby boy called...
Do not speak his name.
While there, she's interrupted as there's an emergency at the docks, and it is here she sees a vision of her co-worker dying, but she barely attempts to try and change things.
Some friend you are!
Next, we find her on a train, and the 3 girls Ezekiel is hunting are also there. Cassie has visions of Ezekiel killing each one on the train and decides that this time she'll try to do something, because in a previous scene, she discovered that she can actually change the future outcome. As Ezekiel gets on the train, she quickly ushers the girls out. Julia, one of the girls, sensing stranger danger, alerts that she's being kidnapped.
Police! Help!
But before the cops really can do anything about it, Ezekiel continues to pursue them, but this time in his Spider-Man costume.
Whoa.
Spider-Person costume. The name Spider-Man could not be used at any time in this film. Like, they always kept saying Spider-Person when referring to Ezekiel. I get it. For good reason, you don't want to associate Spider-Man with this film. Trust me. So Cassie and the girls manage to escape from Discount Spidey as they steal a taxi and head into the woods. However, over the radio, she's identified as a kidnapper. Cassie tells them to stay in the woods and that she'll be back in a few hours. Basically, she went to her apartment and discovered that Ezekiel was her mother's former bodyguard and that he basically has the same powers of the Las Arañas. During this time, the girls choose not to stay in the woods, but instead go to a nearby dino. Since they have been allegedly kidnapped, a local bystander calls the cops. This alerts Ezekiel, who is now on his way to kill them. As Cassie makes her way back to the woods, she discovers that the girls are no longer there. However, she gets a vision of all four of them at the dino where they are killed by Ezekiel. This is a prime example of her vision conveniently pushing the plot forward. To change this fate, she decides to take her car and rush over. Ezekiel arrives at the dino and is about to complete his mission, but Cassie saves the day as she rams her car into the building, knocking him out. Cassie and the girls then escape once again and lay low at a motel.
Oh man!
Now, this is a part of the movie where if the writers didn't give up on creating a coherent narrative, they certainly have now. Essentially, we see Cassie and Ezekiel at the dino, and they're having a conversation where Ezekiel is explaining why he wants to kill the girls and requests that she hands them over. And I was hella confused. Like, was this a vision or a hybrid? Was this some kind of dyad Star Wars-esque communication between them? Because this was different to her standard visions. Like,
What the fuck is this?
I don't know.
Anyway, she wakes up at the motel and she and the girls are having a touching moment. And here's where you can see Cassie as a character becoming more empathetic, more motherly, and Dakota does a pretty good job conveying this despite the poor writing. However, the moment is short-lived as she explains to the girls that she needs to go to Peru to find out more about the spider from the Las Arañas. And so she leaves them with Ben. Cassie, who was identified as a potential kidnapper, somehow is able to leave the country and is now in the Peruvian jungle.
You can't keep getting away with it! You can't keep getting away with it!
Not only that, she makes it to the exact location of one of her mom's pictures 30 years later. Can you believe it? And even more surprisingly, guess who's there to greet her? The Las Arañas dude, who switched his tribal gear for modern amenities.
That's globalization, isn't it?
And yes, somehow he knew exactly where she'd be at the exact location, at the exact time, on the exact date.
How the fuck you know this? How?
So during a conversation with the Las Arañas dude, he explains to Cassie that her mother was searching for the spider for its healing properties, while Ezekiel was seeking it for selfish gains. How does he know this?
How?
Oh, and by the way, the reason Ezekiel has been having daily visions of his death is because he stole the spider.
You serious?
As Las Arañas and Cassie are by a mystical pool, he pushes her, causing her to enter, I don't know, her astral form. Basically what the Lady Monk did to Doctor Strange. Cassie then learns the truth about why her mom was in the forest, which was to ensure that Cassie would be free of a genetic disorder. A touching moment, but honestly by the time I got here in the movie, my caring side was like... So after this touching moment, Las Arañas tells her that if she masters her power, she can become so powerful that she can be in multiple places at once, and that she's the only one who can change the future. Now, does he show her how she could master her power?
How about no?
He then proceeds to give the best line of this movie.
And when you take on the responsibility, great power will come.
You need to leave!
Back in New York, Ezekiel is still on his quest, but so far hasn't been able to locate the girls. He gets a lucky break when Mary Parker water breaks and Ben and the girls have to rush her to the hospital. This allows for one of the girls to be picked up on camera, and so Ezekiel suits up and rushes over. He manages to corner the group, but Cassie saves the day. She uses a stolen ambulance like a Mack truck and bursts through a billboard and lands right into Ezekiel. Nah, this scene was comedy gold. When the ambulance crashes through the billboard, it was clearly gonna miss Ezekiel. So what does he do? He jumps into it. What the hell? Had he stayed where he was, it would have totally missed him. Nah, that was peak cinema. So because the writers won't end the movie here, Cassie takes the girls in the ambulance to separate themselves from Ben and Mary. Ezekiel, having tanked a hit from an ambulance, continues his pursuit. Cassie leads him to a factory at the docks where her friend had died, having devised a plan to defeat Ezekiel based on her visions. The factory is filled with explosives, and she enlists the girls to light flares to set it ablaze. During this grand battle, they manage to best Ezekiel, while Cassie was able to show off her new power to be able to be in multiple places at once in order to save the girls. You know, I guess she was able to master this power on her flight over from Peru.
Obviously.
Obviously, right?
Ezekiel, after managing to tank a hit to the back from an ambulance, is taken down by a letter from a Pepsi Cola sign. Yes, totally believable. During the battle, Cassie takes another dip into the river, but is rescued by the girls. However, while in the water, a firework flashes across her face and blinds her. I'm guessing this is to keep in line with the comic book character, but then I realized,
I don't care.
we then tragically get a post-battle scene of the girls and Cassie living together as one big happy family. And this piece of dialogue was the cringiest of them all. Well done, writers, for ending on a strong note. Madam Web, a case study on how to burn 100 M's. 5 out of 5 stars.
It's a masterpiece.